Waranga mengango. Wada mengango. Mengadani. Mula na kamera. Marumba yirabong awuda.
To the local Walbunja people, when we come out on country provides everything that we need. So we're here at Grandfather's Gully. This is a really significant area. All the resources are here, everything that you need to survive. So when we have a little bit more of a walk along today, I'm going to share some of that with you. So we have the native sarsaparilla here. The elders always used to tell us to pick the leaves. We could chew and suck on those. They're really high in vitamin C. They were also frequently boiled up and make a really nice tea. There's also the false sarsaparilla, Harden Burgess species, but you can actually see the differences between the leaf shapes on the true sarsaparilla and the false. The difference too is the taste. False sarsaparilla has none, and the true sarsaparilla has a sweet taste at first, which actually turns quite bitter. Another really important plant is the lomandra. My grandfather, when I was a child, used to talk about digging the entire plant system up and cooking and roasting the base of it. We can also pick the stems. A lot of women would readily use this plant for the manufacturing of baskets, creating string fibre. You can see it's got the white stems on it. As children, we used to break these up and we'd walk along and chew on the ends. Another significant women's plant is the dianella. This was also the traditional plant used for calling snakes. They normally have a hollow shaft that produces the whistle. So instead of my ancestors having to lift up rocks and logs and looking for snake as a food source, we could use these whistles to call the snakes to us. One of the indicator plants, it's one of the wattle species. We've got a few different varieties. So it tells us when it's time to go collecting. And this one was an indicator for lobster. So when that's in flower, a lot of the people in my family would then know to go diving. This is native cherry, mamaja. So during spring, this is when they come into fruit. The cherry, as it forms and ripens, goes through 3 colour phases. It starts to form in this yellow stage, and it'll go from yellow to an orange, and then it will eventually deepen to a red when it's at its ripest, and that's when the cherry's at its sweetest. We've got the bracken fern here. There's actually 2 types of bracken fern that occur along our coastline. When you feel it, this one's actually quite hard, almost feels like a fake or a plastic plant. The stems of the bracken fern is what we would break and crush up to treat ticks, leeches, mozzie bites, anything of that type of nature, even stinging nettles. And family always said the remedy grows where the problem is. These new stems, these tips, they actually have a nutty flavour, very high in starch, and we would eat those as well. Warrigal greens, or the native spinach, is another commonly found plant in Walbunja country, particularly along the coastlines in our sand dunes. The leaves and the stems are collected, you can boil it up and then eat them. They do tend to have a little bit of a salty, more bitter flavour if you eat them raw. Another plant you're likely to encounter growing with warrigal greens, sand dunes and the beachfront is what we call pigface. Almost succulent-like, cactus-like in appearance. They have very fleshy leaves on them. Some of our mob down here use the leaves to help treat jellyfish stings. The flowers, as they mature, also ripe into a grape-like fruit, highly favoured by our kids on the south coast. Our country here is really important, so I encourage you while you're walking through to just listen, look, take in the scenery, because you're walking on Aboriginal land. This is a really important cultural landscape.